What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the stream, whatever the heck it is I'm doing. I have no idea. FYI, by the way, I'm not great tonight. I'm not gonna lie to you. I am not feeling the best at all. I'm not looking for sympathy, but I can't hear a single thing out of this ear. Like, I have no idea what's going on. I feel absolutely terrible, and I feel really bunged up, and like I just can't hear a single thing here. So we're gonna try and get through it the best I can. I apologize straight off the bat. I won't be like super hyped on tonight's live stream. I can't face it. All right, I just can't do it. I've got my hot drink, which is important, which I'll be nursing for the first part of the stream, but I felt like it was still too important to come live and talk about what's going on. All right, so we're going to sort of dive into this market. We're going to understand exactly what is happening, and equally what is kind of playing out in these charts, because they are important. Now, if you've been trading these charts, well done. There's definitely been some opportunity. I did post some stuff into the premium Discord, just in, just some short trades that I was looking at, and just I don't know, man. The house has had like a really bad cough. Like, my missus has had a really bad cough. Like, the kids have, and like I've sort of stayed away from it. And then a bit earlier on today, just like this side of my head started hurting, and then like I literally just cannot hear a single thing. It's like it's as if my ear just needs to pop and then like release some pressure in this side of my head. So it's some sort of flu, but hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. Well, I'm definitely probably going to do this live stream and head to bed, I think. So probably run down, tired, and burning the candle at both ends. It's never a good idea. But anyway, Damien, what's going on, buddy? Welcome into you. Appreciate you guys tuning in as always. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're brand new here as well. Let's break the markets down. Let's try and understand what's going on. I do want to cover this Iran thing because I think it is important. And equally, we'll talk about the Strait of Hormuz, which I think is going to be a big pivotal move this week. We'll also take a look at the futures markets just to try and get a full view of exactly what is going on. So let me move you here, TikTok, so you guys can see what I'm looking at as well. And yeah, hopefully YouTube you guys can see as well. So like I said, hit the like button, the subscribe button. We're going to try and get through this the best way possible. And hopefully we get to some sort of resolution towards the end of the stream. All right. Thanks, behave. Yeah, like I said, I don't feel horrendous. Like, it's not like I'm super. Bear in mind, I've been sick on this stream before. I just don't feel 100%. So yeah, I need a sleep. I need some warmth, and I'll be fine. Okay. So let's talk about what's going on with BTC. It's been a very, very interesting day. And my view will be that this is going to continue. While this, action's going on in Iran and the UAE and Kuwait and kind of all this sort of byproduct of the US and Israel going in, we're going to see just increased volatility in the market. And equally, I don't just mean like organic volatility. I mean deliberate pumps, deliberate dumps. It's a really, really, really tough time to trade the market. Equally, though, I do think in the long run, it is going to give us an opportunity to head down to these lower ranges that we've been talking about. And you can kind of get a sentiment and a feel for that just over the course of the last 24 hours. What is worth noting here, though, is this chart that we have played out is playing out pretty perfectly. I was actually showing it off the top of this downward trending slope line. So I did post it in the premium Discord, actually saying, look, if we don't hold this line, look out, we'll probably head lower. I can't remember exactly what I said in it, but anyway, I shorted off that, and it turned out to be a pretty nice short, in fairness. Oops. Let me move this over here. So what did I put? Trade signals. I put could be a critical point here short term. Hold above the downward sloping line, and we could see a move back to the 50-day EMA, fail, and we could see a late Sunday struck Monday morning push down. Well, that's exactly what we got. So you can see there, look, as we pushed up to try and retest here. I think what was I on? I can't remember what I was on. The 12-hour. So my thesis a little bit was break this trend line here, and then we could see a push back up here, sort of retesting maybe the 70K line. But we didn't. We wicked up, got to this line, got rejected, and then look, exactly what we expected to happen has played out. So this massive push down in price, down to this range of around 65 and a bit of change. My expectation is this will continue to the downside. And we'll take a look at the futures markets a little bit later on, but they don't look favorable for any sort of continuation or any sort of resolve back to the upside. So I think it's worth just noting that, by the way. So if you are trading this market, just my opinion, then I would be cautious, as I do believe that the price is going to go down. Remember, it's way harder to short markets than it is to long markets. So just be mindful. If you're looking for any sort of short-term move, I reckon down to around this range, 64 and a bit of change, is probably the first real point where you'd argue maybe we find a little bit of support at this point, but I wouldn't hold too much optimism given the state of the futures markets. And don't forget, all of this, all of this kind of this Trump stuff the stock market hasn't been open. Now, what's really frustrating from my perspective is yet again, you guys know that I was open on 2 short trades on Friday when we were last streaming. So I was with Weex.com, link in the description. Also, it's over on our Discord. And I had a short trade open on there. Now, that one printed pretty well. I was like, ended up being like 40%. So that was a nice trade. But the Bitunix one, which was a bigger short trade, I actually ended up closing out for a decent amount of profit, not super loads. And then obviously Trump went into Iran at like, I think it was like 3 o'clock a.m. my time. So yeah, pretty interesting kind of move down, which created this obviously big waterfall down, which is kind of over the space of a few days. And then obviously yesterday, we just kind of got this wick all the way back up, as we've always said. You know, geopolitical tension, war, unfortunately, tends to be by the dip. And that's exactly what happened. Now, the big question then is, where does the dip kind of go now? Where do we see this kind of push down? Like I said, maybe you get a bit of respite at around 64 and a bit of change. My absolute expectation, though, is we come down here. So we'll retest the lower range. The debate then comes, can it hold the lower range? And if it doesn't, then that is where my opinion is that the buy opportunity comes in. And equally, that long trade that we've been looking at potentially going to come in. So, you know, that's kind of where BTC sits on the lower time frame. So if we go to the 30-minute, you can see, look, just real volatility here on the price, and it's not doing a great deal. So if you take, you know, the upper range to the lower range, you can see right now we wick down 382 Fibonacci, bounced off that. Also, the 236 at 64.2 is probably your next level here at the 30-minute, and that would hold that critical sort of support line down the middle as well. So, you know, this is going down. You know, that's just as simple as that. And as sort of news and stuff comes through and we, you know, get more and more sort of updates on it, then I don't necessarily think the crypto market's going to, you know, going to pivot any favorably. I just don't believe it happens. Just my opinion, by the way. I think it bounced up halfway down the channel. Yeah, maybe. I mean, what's the narrative that pushes the price back up? That's the question you got to ask yourself. President Trump says the conflict with Iran could last 4 weeks, per the Daily Mail. That was 5 minutes ago. So, you know, there is, I mean, this is probably the setup that you want to a degree. And I'm not in any way, by the way, advocating for war, because that's not what I'm about. But the 382 fib, oh yeah, it's 65. What wicks down, then a bounce back to the halfway line. I mean, the 382 and this, you know, is generally a good signal where price can bounce from. You can see back here, look, this was a key level for us bouncing off it. Likewise on that previous move. So, you know, if this is going to last 4 weeks, then my view would be, yeah, this gives us the opportunity we've probably been waiting for. And in my opinion, probably pushes us to some of these lows that we've been waiting for as well. So certainly on the short time frames, it looks pretty bearish, and no surprise. Daily candles, as you can see, again, pretty much playing on the pattern that we've been discussing, and is forming a downward sloping trend line. So you'd argue, you know, it's kind of making a pennant here that could signal a breakout, but we failed here 5 times, which means to me that, yeah, there's no desire to push this higher. Short it to 40. Wow. I've been in 4 short trades over the last 36 hours, in fairness. So, yeah, I mean, not now. I'm going to wait for this to wick back up. I mean, it might bounce off this line here at 64 and a bit of change, bounce back up, and again, rejection here. Depends what comes in. You know, don't forget, we've got ISM data coming out on Monday. You know, that could be a little bit of bullishness. I don't think it makes much of a difference, though, because everyone's going to be conscious of what's going on, specifically with Iran. And I think what's interesting as well is obviously gold futures and silver futures look absolutely wild, which, again, we've been saying, you know, no surprise that you're getting this sort of big bounce here on gold and silver. Is it going to get back to all-time highs, though? Maybe. I mean, I don't have a lot of confidence in it. And I know some people are in gold longs and all the rest of it, which is fair play, and silver longs, you know, definitely sort of playing out a little bit more favorably here on gold. Whenever it's above the 20-day EMA, then yeah, you're probably in a place where price could continue to rally to the upside. I think you get a pretty aggressive dump on the stock markets. You probably see bonds come up a little bit, but yeah, I think markets open. I mean, we get futures in what, an hour and a half or something like that. I'll have to see. I guess the shipping insurance companies are also making it difficult for all the tankers. Yeah, well, they've just lowered anchor, haven't they? Because my understanding is 2 tankers have been attacked while going through the Strait of Hormuz. We'll talk about that in just a minute. So, yeah, pretty interesting. All right. So I'm not going to go through everything, by the way. Alts are where they are. I mean, 135 on XRP, still holding up pretty well from that, you know, Friday discussions that we had. Solana at 82, Algorand at 0.085. Sui at 87, maybe starting to potentially break down below that lower trend that we've been looking at. You know, could absolutely give us that print down here at 68 cents that we've been looking for. And then you've got a couple of others that are sort of, in my opinion, throwing up a few discounts. So Aerodrome at 33 cents, AVAX at 880, is pretty decent. Chainlink continues to come down, as does Ondo as well. So some really good opportunities if you have the kahunas to invest in certain things. If not, then, you know, right now, there's nothing wrong, in my opinion. We're just sitting out of the market and waiting. Like I said, I took a couple of short trades, nothing big, nothing crazy. Tight stop losses, played out all right, and it's like, all right, cool. I'm sort of done at that point. You know, I've no reason to be risking any trades. Don't need to risk it. You know, you're going to get an opportunity at some of these low prices to get back in as well. We're definitely going to know if the stock market starts dumping as the future. Yeah, well, we'll take a look. I've got the futures market here, look, so we can take a look at the sentiment. As you would expect, by the way, the sentiment is terrible. So there is definitely this idea that stocks are going to open pretty bearish, which they have done in the past. Like I said, crypto tends to be buy the dip event. Stocks, not so much, all right? Stocks tend to react quite aggressively to geopolitical events. So, okay, so that's the charts. We're not going to go too much into them. We may double back on these a little bit later on. We'll keep an eye on what's going on with BTC. Just in the short term, we'll keep it on the 12-hour chart just because I think it gives us a little bit more of a indication. So let's get into a little bit of what's going on. This is going to end up being one of the big things, certainly for this week, may even be for the entire duration of whatever's going on over there, which is the Strait of Hormuz. And the reason this is important, by the way, is you have like 23% of the entire global oil goes through this particular strait. Like, this is like a couple of miles wide here. So actually, it's a pretty big thing. The world's second largest shipping company, Maersk, suspended transit through the Strait of Hormuz amid the US, Israel, Iran war. All right. So again, 2 ships got taken out. And there's a huge amount of money that goes through there. So what this means in the short term is you are probably going to get a spike in oil. Now, if price of oil goes up, what does that mean? Well, it means the price of energy and everything else goes up. I bought some gold stocks. Gold stocks, you reckon it's going to go up tomorrow? Gold will go up tomorrow. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, not definitely. I can't be like 100% guarantee you. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that gold, silver, commodities are all going to rally pretty aggressively tomorrow. They're seen as a safe bet out there. The other one to watch, by the way, gold. Do I have gold futures? No, we don't. Oh, oil futures. So oil futures up 2.5. And actually, you've got US crude there looking like it's going to pump. So this is kind of where the two things are going to be important. If this stays closed, that means 20% of the entire global oil, global oil routes are going to have to go somewhere else. It essentially means that right now, I think there's just loads of ships have like dropped anchor. They're just kind of chilling out. They're like, yeah, screw going through there. Like, they're getting attacked. Just means that you're going to spike the price of oil. Now, this is where, and again, I'm not like a pro-Trump guy here. Like, I'm not a pro-Trump guy whatsoever. But, you know, you think of the whole Venezuela thing and you're like, holy shit, like Trump just kind of nailed it. Like, he's got 50 million barrels of oil coming from Venezuela. Like, he doesn't care about this. Who does this affect? China, Russia, maybe a little bit of the EU, which is kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of super interesting. So you're going to end up, by doing this and by Iran closing this straight down, you are essentially going to restrict China and Russia's oil flow, which, like I said, is pretty wild when you think about it. I mean, that could be seen as a proper 4D chess move, if you ask me, but pretty wild. Pretty wild. Bro, they won't dump. Looks like they will manipulate and pump upside stock market and crypto. That's something I'm going to call they jump. Yeah, well, they did it on the crypto market. Doug says, hope I'm in crypto. Carl the Moon, Crypto Kid, Da Vinci are all safe in Dubai, Iran. Yeah, I saw that. They hit the that hotel that's out there as well, which is kind of wild, isn't it? They've gone after Kuwait airport. I believe they've hit a lot. Saudi Arabia, I think, are involved now as well, which is pretty crazy if you ask me. So, Mike Bennett, good to see you, man. Welcome. Tim's here as well. Don't forget, hit the like button, everybody. And apologies if I do sound a little bit flat tonight. I've got an incredibly painful ear. I can't hear a single thing out of this side of my face, and I don't feel 100%. So I apologize now. We're going to try and get through the stream, and I'm going to head to bed straight after this. So anyway, this is kind of worthwhile noting. Now, why is all of this important? And this stream is going to be much more sort of, it's the biggest geopolitical event we've got going on that is going to affect the crypto market, right? It's important. So this is one of the big things that you need to see, okay? This is important. So this is the LS position. So the long and short positions, essentially for oil, all right? This is kind of giving us an idea of where some of this is going to go, and more importantly, what this could look like. And this is basically telling us that, look, the CL Open, which again is in a couple of hours. So these are essentially the prices that are going to be open. You can see here that, well, there's a lot of people going short on this market right now. So you had a spike up in terms of longs, but the longs were actually higher than they were previously. But what you can see here is that the shorts have spiked quite significantly. Yeah, they've come down a little bit, but there's a lot here rating on that. So oil futures are up which means I think markets are going to be ready to short that market, which essentially means that, yeah, oil's going to kind of probably spike on the open, and then they're going to hope it's going to come down. I generally believe you could get some sort of crazy announcement, some sort of weird Venezuela move here on oil, which would be pretty interesting, you know, like another 100 million barrels that have been announced to Trump or whatever. Like, there's definitely something going to happen, I feel, given the whole idea that oil is probably going to be the root cause of everything. And I think at the minute, it's probably why China hasn't got involved. It's probably why Russia isn't going to get involved, because actually there's just a bigger player here. This whole energy, Russia, and equally as well, I think, you know, and again, I'm not getting into the politics of all of this, but, you know, with Iran sort of indiscriminately just launching missiles at anyone, it's kind of pretty wild in fairness. So, yeah, keep your eyes out for it. Bro, take some hot water and pour some rum or brandy or whiskey in it. It will open your ear vein and it'll help heal the flu. Please take care. Appreciate it. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, like I said, I just think I'm run down. It was our little boy's birthday party as well. So we had like 6 kids. Bear in mind, he's 6 as well. So we had about, sorry, not 6 kids. He was 6 years old. We had about 15 kids. So that was a bit of a challenge this morning as well. Get paid just to hold some blongs. I mean, that's true as well. Honestly, around the country has wondered. Well, I mean, that's true as well. I mean, they've always said that, haven't they? So again, see what happens. Worth keeping an eye out for, though, just in my humble opinion. So what does that do for Bitcoin? What does it do for cryptocurrency markets? You know, what does it do for our holdings that, you know, many people are still holding and, you know, we're still kind of off the top? Well, look at this. March already showing a negative. Could this be the second time in history that we end up with a 6-month consecutive red for the price of BTC? I mean, pretty wild if you think about it. It's happened once before, which was 2018 into 2019. So we did August, September, October, November, December, and January. So we've never gone 7 months before. So if you wanted a small bit of hopium from tonight's live stream, you could argue and say, well, we've never done 7 months of red price action. So hopefully, you know, this will kind of play out. And April historically is actually a pretty good month as well. So, you know, maybe that gives a bit of favor. But as it stands right now, I mean, this will be from this morning as well. So this number will be way worse right now, given the fact that, you know, Bitcoin is pushing down. I mean, maybe it gets a little bounce. Probably not expecting anything super crazy, but maybe it gets a bounce back to the upside, perhaps. You know, maybe that's kind of where we end up. But certainly worth noting, certainly worth keeping your eyes very much on this. And I mean, look, at the end of the day, you kind of just have to go, well, it is what it is. No Bitcoin set to rise big time. Let's hope so. Fairground, what's going on, buddy? What's going on? I mean, maybe it is. Like I said, I think if you're like me, you've just sort of got to the point where you're like, well, I might as well just hold on to it now. Like, whatever. You know, we're not, I don't think we're a million miles from the bottom anyway. I mean, if you really sort of were in an assumption that sort of high 55, 56, 57 was the bottom, and, you know, Bitcoin was kind of going to be around that price, well, you kind of go, that's fine. That's fine. We can't go much lower than where we are right now. The altcoin markets are very different, and altcoins could probably drop another 50%, but hey, worth noting, all right? Worth thinking about. So this was a chart that I shared ages and ages and ages ago. Oh, by the way, I bit my tongue today as well. So if you think I'm talking weird as well, I literally bit my tongue like I was trying to eat myself, and it's properly like blood blistered it. Like it's bad. I'd show you, but it's weird. But I shared this chart a while back, which is the BTC USD versus the BTC supply and profit and loss. So essentially, that people are holding cryptocurrency right now, where is their particular bags? And if you remember, we said history always tells us that whenever these two lines meet and they consolidate for a period of time, we generally therefore see a bigger upside momentum push. You can go back to 2014 to 2016. You can see there that both price action came in from the supply and profit, and the supply and loss met in the middle. And then obviously we saw the bounce to the upside when it came to price as it kind of opposites. And look, you can get exactly the same right now. 2018 to 2020, we saw exactly the same, followed by the 2021 bull market run. We then got 23, followed by 24, and we're meeting there now. So, you know, this certainly, you know, in my opinion, it says we've got a little bit longer to go. So this is kind of where I believe that the push down comes in. And this is why I believe that, yes, we'll get that opportunity, in my view, at 60,000, even though people like are screaming that the bottom's in, all the rest of it. I just don't necessarily believe them. But this is sort of playing out now to where we believe and have been talking about that this is kind of going to happen. So this is kind of where we sit with BTC. Everything we sort of said, didn't we? Look, it needs a black swan event, this kind of final sort of flush to sort of really reset where the market is, to sort of get everyone out. And we also know at the same time that we've had banks starting to custody crypto, apply for banking licenses to be crypto investors. Like, it's all kind of got a little bit crazy. And, Look, banks aren't going to buy 100,000, not when they could push the price down. And I think that's exactly what we're sort of seeing right now. And if you ask me, I think the whole Iran and the US will just be another means that can create volatility in the market. I just think that's what they'll do. Okay, so worth noting, we'll keep an eye on this chart. I can actually pull this chart up as well most days just to keep an eye and see exactly what's going on. So one of the other things to think about here is where we get to the crypto activity in Iran. So, we've got this kind of war going on. Their actual currency has just completely gone to zero. I don't know if you've seen this, but it's completely worthless, by the way. But quietly, the Iran actually have been, thanks, Mike Bennett. Iran have quietly been accumulating Bitcoin. So, and the reason I put this in, by the way, is we could definitely see some further sell pressure from Iran. And it's not a small amount of Bitcoin, by the way. They've actually been stacking quite a significant amount of money. You can see there on the chart. So what has been going on? Well, look, here we go. The $7.8 billion crypto machine has been exposed. Iran isn't just experimenting with crypto. It has been quietly building a $7.8 billion parallel financial system to work around sanctions and the dollar. Sounds surprising. Similar to Russia, hasn't it, really? Back in 2019, Iran legalized Bitcoin mining and gave licensed operators. If you see the price, by the way, you can mine one Bitcoin. Scott knows what's going on, buddy. Welcome. You can mine one Bitcoin in Iran for $1,260 and sell it for, like market value at $65,500. Pretty crazy. But the deal was simple. Mine BTC cheaply, then sell it to the central bank, which can use it to settle trade outside of the traditional banking system. At times, Iran has accounted for about an estimated 2 to 5% of global hash power. That's not small. The other country that does it, by the way, is Kazakhstan. They do it a lot in the mountains. Chainalysis data also shows wallets linked to the IRGC drove over $3 billion in inflows during 2025, highlighting how deep crypto is now embedded in the country's financial plumbing. Meanwhile, everyday Iranians are using BTC and stablecoin for a very different reason: survival. With the real down almost 96% versus the dollar, crypto has become the financial lifeline during the economic stress and unrest. So, if everyone's got crypto over there, the regime has got crypto over there, they're going to sell it. They're going to have to sell it. They're going to have to fund something if they want to get, let's say they want to get certain things from China. Maybe they want to get some things from Russia. Like they always said, you never quite know who you're going to get once you take the head of a snake off. And obviously they took the head of the snake off with the Ayatollah going. There's now a new Ayatollah, but you don't know what he's like. He might be an absolute lunatic. I have no idea. But yeah, interesting enough here. So Bitcoin doesn't rely on any single country. If Iran's miners go offline, the network simply adjusts and hash moves elsewhere. The real takeaway is that crypto is no longer an investment narrative in parts of the world. It's already functioning as a parallel financial infrastructure, which is great, by the way. And we're all pro crypto and we're all pro this and pro that. But I actually think this will create some more sell pressure in the market. So not only do you have this kind of nervousness from just general investors, I think you're going to get some sell pressure coming from Iran. If they dump $1 billion worth of Bitcoin into the market, it's like, oh shit, that could give us that further push down. Again, it's all kind of lining up, in my opinion, for a number of different things that set us up for that potential push down in the price, which again is exactly what we want right now. So, we're all in that place where, hey, look, we want the lower price. We want to get in as low as possible. And, hopefully, fingers crossed, it all gonna play out. How are you doing? What's your thoughts for crypto this coming week? Not good, Lucas South. That's my opinion. Not good. People are shorting oil. There's the Strait of Hormuz is closed. Bitcoin is dumped on a Sunday after having a tried to relief rally. So I don't believe this week's going to be that favorable. Doesn't mean it can't be volatile. Doesn't mean that we can't get some price increases, but I don't think, my personal opinion, is it's going to be great. Now, what's interesting though is lots of people are heavily shorting the market. Heavily shorting the market. You can see there on the screen that actually we're seeing significant amounts now positioning themselves for price to come down. But what you can note here, and we'll get a slightly better picture of this in just a minute, but what you can note here is that actually there is a lower amount of leverage. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to get my ear to pop. I don't normally yawn that badly in front of people, but I'm trying to get my ear to pop. Yeah, what you can see there is that actually from a exchange perspective, there is actually a different, there's a lot of, let's call it positional movement around, just in terms of where certain things are and, kind of where people are trading this opportunity. What you can also note here is if we go to the, let's go to the 30-day price. You can see here that lots of people are still short in this market, but you've got really high leverage, which is kind of crazy to me. So people are really, for whatever reason, confident that the market is going to push down. The big orange is over 100x leverage trade positions on Bitcoin. So you've got some really, really big trade positions here, and they're really big leverage positions as well. So, this is why I'm saying that this moment in time is going to be really, really crazy, because you're going to get all this fluctuation in price to either liquidate longs, liquidate shorts, try and get spot seller to sell. Like, it's going to be wild. Like, you just have to be really cautious and really sensible if you are going to trade this market. All right. I highly recommend just being cautious, just taking it easy. There's no there's no crazy million X leverage with every single penny you've got in the history of mankind. Like that sort of thing is just not a clever idea, just in my opinion. All right. Like I said, again, it's your money. So you guys do what you want, but I just don't think it's a great idea. Especially given kind of where, where this volatility is right now. I just don't think it's a good idea personally. But right, President Trump issues an official statement. Okay, we need to read this right now. Let's get this up. I'm just trying to find something that I can show you guys dead quick. Okay, I think I got it. Yeah. Don't forget, some of you had already signed up and started trading, but if you want to get trading with me, join Weex.com, link in the description. It is worth joining, by the way. They've got some insane sign-up bonuses. The only channel giving you 50% rebate deposits as well. Deposit $100, get $50 back. You do need to deposit and trade in order to activate the bonuses. No KYC. It's the way to go. It's a great platform, actually. I've been trading over here as well. It's where I had my big short the other night, and it's very, very good as well. So check out Weex.com, link in the Discord, link in the description on here, and also I just pinned it in the chat as well. But you also got net bonus deposits and some trade bonuses deposits as well. So it's a great platform, by the way, really good. I'm enjoying using Weex.com. We also have Bitunix as well. If you're interested, all those links are in the description, but check them out. Okay, let's quickly get this announcement up from Trump. I want to hear what I want to see what the recent statement is. Okay. Oh, it's 6 minutes, bro. Are we gonna watch this? Partners have launched okay, let's listen in, and we'll see if we can take anything else from it, and then we'll come back. Okay, so I think YouTube, you can see that. TikTok, you'll have to look at me and hear it, but I'll mute myself on YouTube so people can hear me. Right, let's listen in and see what he says.
Operation Epic Fury, one of the largest, most complex, most overwhelming military offensives the world has ever seen. Nobody's seen anything like it. We have hit hundreds of targets in Iran, including Revolutionary Guard facilities, Iranian air defense systems. Just now it was announced that we knocked out 9 ships plus their naval building, all in a matter of literally minutes. Iran's formerly supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, is dead. This wretched and vile man had the blood of hundreds and...
Hold on. Why does he always do that? Why does he always do that? Do you remember what he said, the guy in when he did the Taliban one? It was like Salman Sana is dead. He cried like a dog. It just doesn't need it, does he? Doesn't need it. Okay, sorry.
Even thousands of Americans on his hands, and was responsible for the slaughter of countless thousands of innocent people all across many countries. Last night, all over Iran, the voices of the Iranian people could be heard cheering and celebrating in the streets when his death was announced. The entire military command is gone as well, and many of them want to surrender into saving their lives. They want immunity. They're calling by the thousands. Combat operations continue at this time in full force, and they will continue until all of our objectives are achieved. We have very strong objectives. They could have done something 2 weeks ago, but they just couldn't get there. Earlier today, CENTCOM shared the news that 3 U.S. military service members have been killed in action. As one nation, we grieve for the true American patriots who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation, even as we continue the righteous mission for which they gave their lives. We pray for the full recovery of the wounded and send our immense love and eternal gratitude to the families of the fallen, and sadly, there will likely be more. Before it ends, that's the way it is. Likely be more, but we'll do everything possible where that won't be the case. But America will avenge their deaths and deliver the most punishing blow to the terrorists who have waged war against basically civilization. They have waged war against civilization itself. Our resolve, and likewise that of Israel, has never been stronger. America is now, again, the richest, most powerful nation in the world by far. But the only reason we enjoy the quality of life that we do and the freedom and security is we have done things that others are unable to do. But it's because of warriors who are willing to lay down their lives to do battle with our enemies. And they do battle better than anybody. An Iranian regime armed with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be a dire threat to every American. We cannot allow a nation that raises terrorist armies to possess such weapons that would allow them to extort the world to their evil will. Not going to let it happen. We're not happening to us, and we're not going to let it happen to others. The United States has the strongest military the world has ever seen. I rebuilt our military in my first term. There's never been a military like we possess. And frankly, there's nobody even close, but we are now using that military for good. We want to have it for good purpose. We're undertaking this massive operation not merely to ensure security for our own time and place, but for our children and their children, just as our ancestors have done for us many, many years ago. This is the duty and the burden of a free people. These actions are right and they are necessary to ensure that Americans will never have to face a radical, bloodthirsty terrorist regime armed with nuclear weapons and lots of threats. For almost 50 years, these wicked extremists have been attacking the United States while chanting the slogan, "Death to America" or "Death to Israel," or both. They are the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. We are the world's greatest and most powerful nation, so we can do something about what they do. These intolerable threats will not continue any longer. I once again urge the Revolutionary Guard, the Iranian military, police, to lay down your arms and receive full immunity or face certain death. It will be certain death. Won't be pretty. I call upon all Iranian patriots who yearn for freedom to seize this moment, to be brave, be bold, be heroic, and take back your country. America is with you. I made a promise to you, and I fulfilled that promise. The rest will be up to you, but we'll be there to help. Thank you. God bless you to our incredible warriors, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
I just pressed the wrong button there. There you go. I mean, that's pretty wild, isn't it? It's like you either can do it or not. Did someone say he was live on Fox News right now? Welcome in, by the way. We've got 250 people in the stream right now, so shout out to everybody tuning in. Let me see if I can get Fox. Let me see if I can get like live. Let's see what's going on right now. Did someone say he's live right now on watch Fox News live? Okay, let's have a look. Pre-markets are going to be very interesting, yeah. Okay, so he's not live right now. Let me just double check. But yeah, he's not live right now, so we will keep close to it. But I mean, this is definitely going to create some real volatility in this market. I mean, he said it's going to last for a month. That's pretty wild. I mean, pre-market data, just to give you a bit of an idea, while I try and find out any kind of other sources that's going on right now. Let me just see if I can see if there's anything with like the White House or anything. But yeah, pre-markets look really garbage. Just FYI, really garbage. So let me close that down, mute that real quick. There we go. There we go. All right, so the S&P 500 looks like it's going to open down about 0.5%. NASDAQ down 1%. I mean, that's going to be big. The NASDAQ at 1% is going to be awful. The Russell is probably the best indicator we have against cryptocurrency, which tells us that the Russell is going to dump, which probably tells us that the US markets in general are going to come down, which probably tells you the crypto market is going to come down as well. What'll be interesting is we'll probably see a push into market open, in my opinion, and then I think we'll probably see a dump. But yeah, so pre-markets look terrible. Look at the global position here on pre-markets. So the whole of US looks like it's going to open down. Brazilian markets look like they're going to open down. European markets, particularly France, Italy, all look like they're going to be down. The Asian markets, so India looks, I mean, India historically has been a real dumperino of the charts. Shorts it is then, John. I mean, look, it's easy to say that what you'll probably get is just super big volatility. That's my opinion. Crazy big volatility. So yeah, so what do we got at the minute? There's nothing going on the news right now that, I mean, I'm more interested in this Strait of Hormuz thing. We need to keep a close eye on that because that's going to be an important one as well, because that is going to spike prices of oil, and that is going to be a big one. So if we see significant prices in oil, then that could be an indication that actually we're going to see some pain, because don't forget, if you see a price spike in oil, you'll see a price spike in energy. That's going to wreck. I mean, we haven't got CPI, I don't think anytime soon. ISM on Monday. Yeah, retail sales is nothing. Okay, so we get core inflation next Wednesday, which it won't take effect right now. Like it's not going to be a bigger thing, to be honest. But yeah, so there's nothing going on. There's no like official announcements that I can see outside of the obviously a statement that we just heard from Trump there, saying that, look, you know, we've got 3 American servicemen dead, and yeah, that it is definitely getting tasty right now. Yeah, so we just listened to that, so we don't need to listen to that anymore. Breaking President Trump announces thousands of Iranian officials are calling the United States requests for immunity. Okay, we just heard that, didn't we? Just heard that. So yeah, okay, so there isn't anything other than any sort of breaking news. We will keep close to it if there is, because I think that's where it's going to get important. So I've got Fox News down here just to sort of see if we do get anything. I don't think we will, by the way. I mean, they're just talking about like where do people sit on the view of the attacks in Iran. But you know, if you're going to look to trade these markets, then gold's going to be an interesting one. Futures look like they're going to open pretty bullish here on gold, as does silver. I mean, silver looks even bigger than gold. 6.5% is pretty wild, isn't it? Which probably tells us again that markets are fearful. Markets are in a world of like uncertainty, especially because, I mean, he's come out and said it's going to be 4 weeks. Like, what the 4 weeks, bro? Are you streaming right now? What? So yeah, that's going to be definitely worth thinking about for sure. Jake Claypool's spot on with all the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. Been talking about it for ages. Yeah, I mean, it's always going to happen, isn't it? But again, this is where it all starts to kind of play into a very interesting discussion, because the fact that Trump doesn't need the Strait of Hormuz, he essentially now has Venezuela. So like, it's only going to cripple China and Iran. Like, let's have a look. Strait of Hormuz, oil flow. Let's just do that. So ships crossing the Strait of Hormuz carry around 1/5 of global oil. I mean, think about that. That's about 20 million barrels per day. That makes the strait the most critical energy choke point. There are a small number of strategic passageways on choke points on which global trade depends. So the fact that, the fact that people are like closing it down. I mean, they've got some insane stories here. Look at this, which is going to freak markets out tomorrow. $100 oil. Prolonged Hormuz closure could spark a 1970s-style energy shock. Analysts warn that a prolonged Strait of Hormuz disruption could push oil prices into triple digits. I mean, think about that. Like, triple digits would be wild. Markets are likely to price an immediate risk. That's what I'm saying. You've got to be careful. Duration of the conflict would determine the severity of any spike, and the worst-case scenario includes Gulf infrastructure attacks and a broader regional escalation. So, yeah, the Strait of Hormuz is definitely going to be a big thing. And as we sort of said, you know, look, oil is spiking a little bit, 2.6%. So it's kind of hitting, you know, the highs that we've seen for the day, well, from the early part of last week, which was all this was kind of like, oh, you know, maybe Trump's going to go in, and then it sort of filters out and it's like, okay, he's not. And then boom, you know, this is kind of Friday, isn't it? So, you know, this is literally 3:00 in the morning, my time. So that's when he went in. So Russia trying to affect it all. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? So indirectly, by the fact the Iranians are closing it down, means that the only people that are going to really affect, I think, is the Russians and the Chinese. Casey, thanks, mate. Strait of Hormuz, oil percentage per country. Let's see what that looks like. Let's see what that looks like. Okay. Volume of crude oil and coincide transport by origins. Strait of Hormuz, Saudi Arabia, United States. See, this is the thing, isn't it? Like, look. Interesting. I mean, I don't know when this data is. I mean, this data is kind of old, but you'd expect this numbers to be bigger. So Saudi Arabia, United States, Asia, Singapore, South Korea, Japan, India, and China. I mean, China's got a pretty big amount there. So surprisingly, Russia. I mean, I guess Russia is kind of making their own, isn't it? But yeah, definitely China is going to be an interesting one, isn't it? China is definitely going to be the interesting one, which if oil spikes, energy spikes, that means cost spike, which probably means that you get stock sell-off, you get crypto sell-off. So yeah, I mean, gold, silver, copper, maybe they're all going to be the plays tomorrow, I think. I think that's where it sits. The crypto market, like I said, is probably going to head down to some of those prices that we've been looking at. So I would definitely get ready, by the way. Oops, definitely get ready. By the way, if you are just joining us, we've got nearly 300 people in the stream right now. So shout out to everybody tuning in. I appreciate you guys. I am not very well this evening. I apologize. I can't hear a single thing out of this ear. It's really hurting as well. So I'm not my usual super hype self, so I do apologize. But if you're enjoying the content, we break things down a little bit differently on the channel. Just hit that subscribe button. I live stream 6 days a week at 9 p.m. UK time, 4 p.m. Eastern. We break down all the crypto markets. We break down geopolitical events, macroeconomics, you name it. We talk about it, and we try and make sure that we know exactly what's coming. So if you just like that kind of stuff, then, you know, hit the subscribe button. Definitely worth it, in my opinion. Also, check out the links in the description. We've got a free Discord channel if you guys want to join it. Just make sure you verify. And also, we have some crazy links down there with some insane sign-up bonuses to things like Weex, Bitunix, all these trading platforms that you can get involved. So definitely check them out. Stuart's in the building. What's going on, Stu? Good to see you, man. Welcome in. Tomato Pieces. Russia has their own oil. Yeah, I figured that. I totally forgot that they actually do. No, I'm saying no, my positions otherwise. It's tax, so I'm good. I mean, that's definitely the way to do it. That's the way to do it. No, Tim, honestly, I haven't. You know me, I'd happily accept if that was the case, but it's not, unfortunately. So, okay, right. So, nothing going on here on the news as such. Just to keep you guys posted. So we're not seeing anything kind of, any developments that could create this. For me, this is just preempting price action on commodities. So, my view, as they say here on the pre-markets, that, expectation would be you get a sell-off. I can't remember what it was. That you get a sell-off into commodities and equities and crypto probably sell off. So, worth thinking about. Especially, I mean, look, my best piece of advice, not financial, obviously, just my opinion is, I just don't know if it's worth it. I mean, you could say, well, look, Tibet, they're going to dump this market. Yeah, but history always tells us that they try and push the price higher. So you end up with everyone starting to stack shorts. I mean, we could probably see it a little bit. Everyone starts to stack shorts. They wick the price up, liquidate the shorts, then dump the price back down. So it's happened I remember it happened, man, like 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago. I can't remember what was going on. But I was short market and I thought, yeah, it's going to be fine. This. I told you guys, it was before this big wick here. Which I can't remember what that was for. Can you? I can't remember why that wicked down now. Anyway, and so my view was absolutely that, and they wicked it up, and I missed the trade by $24. So again, just be mindful. I think history tells that they will generally wick this price back up. You can see here just how this is played out on the 30-minute as well, where we wick the price up, drop the price, and then dump it. Wick it up, dump it. Wick it up, dump it. So right now you've got you're playing an unfair game. That's just my personal and very humble opinion when it comes to it. So, are we holding or are we selling because we might drop tomorrow? I mean, my opinion is, look, historically, geopolitical events are always by the dip, right? Always. They generally always play out in a favorable way. My personal assumption is that everything you look at right now tells us that we're probably going to push down in price. Whether it's sentiment, whether it's commodities, people are going to go into gold. You got a 6% move coming on gold. People are not going to go risk on, are they? I don't think anyway. I don't think. But again, you just never know. I mean, if everyone loads their shorts, they could push the price higher. We'll see. I think a lot of people are fatigued with the crypto market and other stuff. I agree, Tomato Pete. I agree. I think people are just getting into a world where they're a bit like, whatever. Whatever. I don't care anymore. Like, just get it over and done with. Let's move on. Let's move on. So, okay, let me just see if there is any other news coming in right now that is worth it. Trump's speech we've looked at. Yeah, Trump says it could last 4 weeks. I mean, that could be wild. I mean, if you think about 4 weeks right now, if we look on the weekly candles, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're into sort of mid to end of March, aren't you? Which is probably, that's probably somewhere right, if you ask me. I'm just going to move this across a little bit. To what we've been talking about, that actually then, this kind of price action may just end up playing out exactly as we sort of anticipate, and could give you the opportunity over the course of this next 4 weeks, especially if you get some sort of, and by the way, I think Iran have set their stall out pretty obviously that they're just going to go for anyone. They don't really care, do they? That could set the stall out for some pretty aggressive push downs. Again, my personal opinion, I would definitely be in a place where I've got trades set to tick up 58,000. I mean, this is the wick this is the boxes we've got. So that's sort of 60,000 to 62,000 we've got. And then that lower box around 53, 54,000. So anything in there, that's kind of where I'm looking at. BTC going down now. I mean, not right now. I mean, you could argue in the last hour, we've actually seen some green candles here on the 30-minute. We've had 2 green candles, but I wouldn't hold much hope for it. I think it's a push into futures opens for the US markets, and then I think they just dump it back down. That's just my opinion. I mean, look at some of these futures prices. They look absolutely awful. So, it is just worth being very mindful right now. Yeah. I mean, look at bonds. Treasury bonds all look like they're going to be down as well, which is interesting because actually that would be a safer, that would be a safer home in some respects than gold and silver, because we have seen a big sell off in gold and silver before, but it feels like people are just like, nah, I'm not bothered. I'm just going in on gold and silver. Bruce in the house said the short oil is insane. 25% of production is that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the oil one is definitely going to be a big thing. Like I said, the fact that you could potentially see a spike in price. I mean, you could argue like a long trade on oil might be pretty tasty, but I think there's so many problems with that. Trump could announce, look, we're going to start selling Venezuelan oil. Like, yeah, you're short already. Fair play. I mean, I was short this afternoon, closed that trade out. Probably should have kept it open in fairness, because it would have printed. I can't remember exactly where I closed it out. I think I closed it out here somewhere around 66,000. So if BTC drops to 11K for 2 weeks, what would you sell to get 11K BTC? I mean, if Bitcoin goes to 11K, that's like, I know people just think it's like, oh yeah, that'd be great, but you've got to understand, like, that'd be a world of pain. It'd be great because you'd be able to get it at a super crazy price, but I mean, it would take so long to recover from 11K. Like, think about it. You'd almost like flush hedge funds and ETFs and all the rest of it, which would be pretty crazy. But yeah, I mean everything, everything. I'd sell my house. I wouldn't sell my house. That's insane. But yeah, it was before the weekend. They short the oil and gas market. There's no surprises there, and they're probably long in it now. They're probably long in the market, which is what we said, isn't it? Like, they'll just like push the price back up. So yeah, the Strait of Hormuz is definitely going to be the one thing to keep an eye out for. Any sort of attack on tankers is going to be interesting. I mean, this person's still talking here. What are they talking about on Fox News? I don't even know what they're talking about. Okay, so Trump's not on there. Let's go to let's go here and put in okay. Not a lot going on over there. There's not a lot going on. Let's see if we can just get some live news up. So fresh attacks coming in. Ships struck at the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, so we said that, didn't we? This is kind of where it's going to get marginally problematic. Hold on a minute. So you guys, this is what we need to sort of. This is what we need to hear.
The world's waters are incredibly busy, and with tensions growing in the Middle East, Sky's data and forensics team has been monitoring shipping movements in critical areas. Each of these red marks shows an oil or gas tanker. One of the most important shipping routes is here, the Strait of Hormuz, with Iran to the north and Oman and the UAE to the south. It is the only marine outlet for this region's main oil producers, including Iran, making it strategically vital. 20% of global oil was flowing through this narrow waterway in 2024, which is the equivalent of 20 million barrels a day. Now, ship tracking data shows us Hormuz on the 1st of February and shows how active, how busy the strait was, vessels passing into and out of the waterway. But this is the situation the day after the US and Israel carried out their first strikes on Iran. Far fewer vessels in the area and very little movement, with clusters piling up next to large ports either side of the strait. Now, the data can also track individual tankers. We've focused on 5 vessels in the area, all due to cross through the strait. Each one, though, changing course and turning around. Between them, analytics agency Kepler estimates they have the capacity to carry around 10 million barrels of oil. Now, Iran can't legally close the strait, and there isn't a physical blockade, but the risks here are huge. On Sunday morning, there was an attack here on a Palau-flagged oil tanker called Skylight. Some on board were injured and the whole crew evacuated. The US Navy is warning against navigation through the strait, and some traders are suspending transit. But as well as that attack, we can also look at this disruption with AIS signals in the strait. AIS is the communication and tracking system used by ships. It is absolutely crucial to safe navigation. This shows the AIS signals in Hormuz on the 27th of February. But look what happens a day later. There is a huge amount of interference. This makes tracking ships difficult and their transit dangerous. Now, volatility in the Gulf will have an impact across the world. Disruption there will in turn disrupt global markets.
Yeah,
and
that's exactly what we said. That's exactly what we said. So yeah, tells you why it's important. Tells you why it's important. The ships will soon lose it. Well, I mean, the point is they either decide, don't they? And they either sit there and wait and see what happens, which again is going to spike price of oil, which means that commodities are going to spike, which means cryptocurrency is probably going to go down, or they chance their arm, they try and get through, and they risk, they risk it all going a bit Pete Tong. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be, I think that's going to be the anchor that's going to drive this market, and certainly could be the reason that we see push down. I mean, I kind of feel like these price spikes down today have been down to those ships getting attacked, which is interesting. Look, chat, natural gas, look, inverse head and shoulders. Oops, wrong one. What am I looking at on the daily? Oh, the 5-day. Oh, the 4-hour. Yeah. I mean, you can kind of see it. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting. I mean, do you think it's going to, I mean, the view would be that this would continue to spike up, especially if it's going to bounce off the 20-day EMA as well. So yeah, natural gas, oil, they're going to be the big winners out there here, which as much as if you're trading these commodities, that's like, okay, cool. But what that's going to do is spike prices. And yeah, that's where you might get this whole, like, my assumption would be the whole, like, Venezuela thing. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, there it is. Look. Pretty interesting. I mean, it's volatile, but yeah, it looks like it is going up. Okay, we might just have some more. What was that? This has just come through. President Trump provides some more details on Operation Epic Fury, which was US will avenge any deaths of Americans. He expects there will be more US casualties. Military operations will continue until objective are achieved. US claims the entire Iranian military command is gone. US calls on Iranians to seize the moment. I'd seen something that they were like affecting. They were like sabotaging like their media state sponsored like TV network and just playing clips of Trump saying that like they should rise up and all sorts of crazy stuff. Like modern warfare, hey, it's wild. It's wild if you ask me. It is as bad. I feel like I've heard some sort of like explosion go off my ear. Man, it is absolutely killing me right now. It is killing me, everybody. But yeah, we're trooping on. What time are we on? 10 to 10. 10 to 10. We'll obviously be back tomorrow night, hopefully, bringing you the latest and greatest in crypto, which is good. But yeah, this is going to be a moving feast that we're going to have to stay very, very close to. Like I said, my personal assumption, TLDR, I think the market pushes down. I think structurally we look like we're going to push down. The trend looks like we're going to push down. The uncertainty going on with Iran tells us we're going to push down. Like it's all very much aligning to some pain. And what you're probably going to see is a bigger push down in alts. So if you are in altcoins, you know, my personal opinion is that, look, it could throw up some DC opportunities. Wow will go wild in the country. You know, is gold and silver. Yeah, gold and silver look like they're going to be big. I mean, you've got US futures open in what, an hour. So we'll see. Mike Bennett says, Peasy, I'll ride the wave. Trump has a new response. Yeah, well, I've just seen the stuff from that statement we just watched, which again is pretty interesting. So I'm not seeing anything else new right now. What's going on, Vern? Yeah, update on that. Israeli Air Force carries out more than 30 strikes targeting Iran's ballistic missile capabilities. What did you miss? Not a lot. I'm not feeling great tonight, mate. My ear is absolutely killing me. Like I don't know what's going on, but I feel like, yeah, I can't hear a single thing here. Like my ear's gone and I feel terrible. But yeah, we're all right. We're holding up. But lots of talk on Iran. I mean, lots of talk. I mean, interestingly enough, BTC has actually pushed up since we've been live to about 65, 678. So like I said, they could wick this to, thanks, Vern. They could wick this to 67, interestingly enough. This upper range here, they could wick it up to 67. Thanks, mate. I appreciate it. Yeah, like I said, I'm never normally one for sympathy, but it's absolutely like killing me. No, I've got a really bad cough and stuff. I think it's flu, mate, to be honest. I think it's flu. I've invested in crypto in 2023 and now I'm at 21k. I can't lose more. What do you guys think? And seriously, we're dropping tomorrow. I think so. Golden balls. Let me ask you though, what are you invested in though? Because if it's Bitcoin, then, you know, this isn't personalized financial advice, but you know, if it's Bitcoin, then you're probably going to be okay. If it's Alskrakinu, then you're probably not going to be okay. But do I think BTC will go below 60k this month? I mean, maybe. If this goes for 4 weeks, that's the whole month of March, and you get a spike in oil, you get uncertainty. Let's say you get, unfortunately, some more US deaths. You get some real pushback out of Congress. Like, basically, markets don't like uncertainty. So, you know, if it's smooth and it's like, you know, as smooth as war can go, I guess, in some respects, then it's probably going to be okay. But if it's not, and we see these kind of, you know, crazy spikes, or let's say, like, for example, Iran keeps going after the UAE, or, you know, even worse, goes, you know, further abroad, then yeah, that's where it could get pretty tasty. I think that's where I think you could get some real problems. And yeah, I mean, if you think we're going to get that right now, structurally, everything looks like it's going to go down. Sentiment feels like it's going to go down. Price is going down. You know, you would have had to hold any of these wicks here above this downward sloping trend line in order to kind of say, well, price is potentially going to come into a reversal. Remember, you have to, in order to agree a reversal, get 2 green candles. So you can argue here, look, 2 green candles, momentum back to the upside. You know, we haven't got that right now. So, I says, first time on your channel, what are you seeing? Bull or bear? Bear, definitely. Yeah, we've been talking about this. Again, you've got structure here that's telling us to go down. You've lost this indicator on 5 separate occasions. You've got spike in oil. Commodities are going up. Like, in my opinion, it will either, I think personally, it wouldn't surprise me one bit if they don't wick this to 67,000 and they come and retest this bit, grab late longs into this, and then I think this market, this price pushes down because the futures are going to open Gold's probably going to spike. Silver's probably going to spike. And then I think we'll sort of continue down. Remember, the stock market hasn't had any exposure to this stuff going on in Iran at the minute. Do you still hold Bitcoin? So I'm not a big Bitcoin holder. I hold more altcoins. I'm still in some of my top altcoins, but I went into about 55% stablecoin, about $108,000. So I have got over 50% of my entire portfolio sat in stablecoin right now, waiting for the dip down to around 60,000, maybe even 58,000, in order to then reaccumulate and open up. We're going to be opening up at a 6-figure trade here on the channel as well. So we're going to be looking to ride something pretty big back to the way up on the upside. But yeah, that's kind of where we are at the minute. But like I said, I have some stable coin ready to go, and I have like Solana, I have it staked. Yeah, pretty interesting. So just wait and see. I have $300 in there. Any point putting that on XRP? I mean, personally, I think that the market's probably pushed down a little bit further, and yeah, it's your money, so I can't tell you what to do. But all I've ever said about XRP is I think it's very different to other altcoins, and I think it has real core utility, similar to Ethereum and all the rest of it. If I was to give you any thoughts, and again, this is not financial advice, this is just my strategy and what I'm looking at. For me, I'm looking at SUI as a potential that I think is probably something I want to add to for this upcoming bull market, but I want to get in down here somewhere around 70 cents. That's where I think price will come down to. So yeah. So what do you think about BTC? You know BTC's crypto dominance. Look, I like Bitcoin, but understand that, you know, Bitcoin's always going to be a relatively safe asset. Me personally, by the way, the only thing I bought was some Bonk the other day. I bought some Pepe the other day, and I bought about $400. That was it. Generally speaking, I am not buying anything. I'm just waiting to see what happens. Do you think Bitcoin will pump or dump? I think it will dump personally. But yeah. There's no rush to get into the market, in my opinion. I've been saying this now for, 2 months? You know, there's a lot of things that can happen. There's a lot of things that need to happen. And while you've got this going on in Iran, like, there's just no reason this isn't going to push down further. And don't forget, there's a lot of things to come yet. There's a lot of uncertainty in the markets, midterms. Trump's going to not stimulate the economy just yet. So you've not got really anything that's going to push it. ISM data tomorrow might give you a little bit, but expectations on ISM, by the way, is it's going to be worse than it was previously. It'll still be in expansion, but it is actually going to be worse than the previous data point. So we do need to be mindful of that as well. So, you know, just my view. Earth Perspectives in the house. What's going on? Loading up more H-bar and Canton. Yeah, I mean, Canton was... We were touching on Canton the other night. Where's it at right now? 16.1. So, I mean, that's holding up pretty well. Canton here on the down sloping trend line. Did wick down off this top of range, but 17.5. But actually, broadly... Canton's holding up right now, and could be, could be one of those coins that ends up sort of performing pretty well. So very interesting, if you ask me. Very interesting. We like Ondo. Yeah, Ondo's good. Yeah, we know about that, Tim. Like I said, I mean, it's on a discount. They announced some interesting stuff as well. So yeah, I like Ondo, and I think it's really undervalued as well. And remember, Ondo is literally one of the treasury markets announced on chain on Ethereum, because that's where it's built, to really spike everything. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be adverse to picking up some more Ondo at all, actually, at all. Similar with Canton, I like Canton, and Hype's another one that I'm sort of watching. Do I think this can kind of push down a little bit further? Yeah, I mean, it's on a nice little breakout right now, but I don't think it's got a lot of momentum here. Volume's low, Sunday pump. I'm not super crazy bullish on Hyper just yet, but I think this could be another, perp dex for, 26, 27 kind of bull run. So, can be pretty, or do you think the war affects the price of Bitcoin to fall? I think you can't ever predict it. You can give a higher or lower percentage as to where you think it could go. But yes, I do think there are. I mean, we were just talking about earlier, Iran has about $7.8 billion worth of Bitcoin, that if they've got no oil coming through, they've got restrictions in terms of what they can sell globally, they're going to have to do something to even buy more weapons or whatever. Like, they potentially will have to sell Bitcoin. Like, they're going to potentially sell their crypto market. So, if they dump $1 billion on the crypto market, it's going to push price down. No, I'm not a full-time trader. No. If anything, I would say that I'm not even a super crazy, big believer in TA. Like, I know how to do it. I've taught myself, as well as this community, to do it. I'm way more macro, though. I'm way more like politics, economics, than I am charts. Charts give you an idea. Charts can give you a thesis, but actually what's the narrative that's going to confirm that thesis? So yeah, I'd love to be full-time YouTube, but no, I do a full-time job as well. Can't lose with WorldCoin. Mike Bennett, crazy. But I mean, I've never been a fan of WorldCoin since they gave 50 WorldCoin away to scan your eyeball. I was like, nah, I'm not about that. Chicken soup, rest up. Thanks, mate. Yeah, I just need to get my head on a pillow and get to sleep. Don't know how much about it, but would rather focus on something. Can Bitcoin be predicted? Yeah. Sorry, yeah. I mean, look, it should always be risk versus reward. That's how you should play this market. What is your risk tolerance and what's your reward tolerance? So yeah, it's official. It's officially 5 p.m. Eastern. In 60 minutes, US stock market futures will open for the first time since the war began in US, Iran, and Israel. Some indicators show oil prices surging well over $70 a barrel, and gold and silver prices are in the spotlight. Our view: let the dust settle before making emotional trading decisions. We expect extreme volatility as market attempts to price in vast amounts of uncertainty for the first time. We'll be breaking it all down real time here next. So yeah, watch out. Everyone's in that place. Everyone thinks it's going to be pretty crazy on market opens, and I would be inclined to agree with them. So watch out for the market push up, and then watch out for the dump afterwards. Just my personal opinion. Technical and fundamental, which is worthy to believe. I mean, you'd always want to go fundamental, wouldn't you? Technicals are good, but they only really tell you what emotional traders and human emotion is. Fundamentals, like if you've got a company, for example, that's trading on the stock market, that actually their balance sheet, their cash supply is garbage. They're massively over in debt. They've got loads of like bad credit, and the fundamentals are shit. So maybe it goes up for a little bit, but I don't think you can pigeonhole crypto in that same sort of idea, really, personally. Clarity Act, I mean, we've still got to wait for a little bit longer, but yeah, hopefully we get that soon. I had a feeling last week the USA and Israel would have bombed. Yeah, well, I was short the market Friday. I just closed the short out too soon. That was the problem. I was literally short, and I closed it about 3 hours before Trump went in. So, yeah. Look, it is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Still had a decent trade, but yeah, it could have been way better. I think I closed the trade out for about, I don't know, 600 or something. It could have been about $4,000. But like I said, it is what it is. 2.6 here on oil on a little spike. So yeah, worth watching here, in my opinion. Worth watching, everybody. Right. It is not very often I cut the stream early. I mean, I'm not early. I'm bang on an hour, but I feel terrible, everybody. So I'm going to get gone. I'll be back tomorrow night. All fingers crossed. 9 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. UK. No, 9 p.m. UK, 4 p.m. Eastern. Do keep your eyes on oil. I would definitely watch market opens. My personal opinion and what I'm doing, I'm not trading this right now. Let's see what the dust settles like. Let's hope that there's no more escalation, particularly to anyone that's actually not directly involved in it. So keep your eyes peeled. Back tomorrow night. If you want to get more breakdowns of the market, do make sure you tune in. It is definitely going to be worth it. But until then, thank you so much. Look after yourselves, everybody. And I'll catch you by here tomorrow. Take care.